Welcome back, class. Today you're going to be reviewing how we solve one-step equations, and we're going to be focusing on all of our operations, so addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So remember, a one-step equation for our purposes is an algebraic expression where we are looking for that variable. So it's any expression that has a variable in it that we can solve. Remember, when we have an algebraic expression with a variable, our answer is always going to be, what is that variable? We're always looking for, what does your variable equal? Most of our problems you can do in your head. You can know that 3 plus something equals 10, that something equals 7. But what we're going to focus on today is you showing me how you got that 7. So I don't want to see any mental math. I want you to actually write your work out. So we have some steps we need to follow. Our steps are, we rewrite the problem. We do that for pretty much all of our math problems. Then we're going to perform the inverse. Inverse meaning opposite. So I will change that color because that's going to be the main focus, is inverse and what does it mean. And then our last step is we solve. So I'm going to leave that part up at the top, and then we're going to just keep focusing on it over and over and over again. So let's start with an addition problem. If I have 2 plus x equals 21, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite the problem. So I'm going to use red for my rewrite. I'm going to rewrite it. 2 plus x equals 21. And then what I need to do is I'm going to do the inverse. So inverse again meaning the opposite. So I look, what math operation am I doing? Well, I'm doing addition. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to look, well, what is it that I'm subtracting? I subtract whatever number is with my variable. So I look for which side is my variable on. This time it's on my left side, and I subtract whatever number is on that side of the variable. So I see a 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 from the left, and then I have that phrase, whatever I do to the left, I must do to the right. So I just subtracted 2 from the left, so I need to subtract 2 from the right. My last step is solve. So I'm going to solve. What is 2 minus 2? Well, that is 0. And then I have x all by itself. So I have 0 plus x equals 21 minus 2. Well, 21 minus 2, I know that is 19. Now remember, when I'm looking for an answer with a variable, I'm always looking for what does x equal. So I want x all by itself. Now, what is 0 plus x? Well, I know any number plus 0 is that same number. So I have actually just an x here. This 0 will cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 19. Now, we have one more step, and that is check. If you do not check your work, you're going to be redoing it on our assessment. So how I check that work is I take whatever x equals, and I'm going to put it back into my original equation. So here I have my original equation, 2 plus x equals 19, and 2 plus x equals 21, and I substitute that 19 in for x. So I'm going to rewrite it. 2 plus 19 equals 21, and then I know 2 plus 19, well, that's 21, and 21 equals 21, so my left side equals that right side. Let's practice a subtraction problem now. I still have the same steps. Rewrite, inverse, solve. So my problem I'm going to do is y minus 13 equals 31. So I'm going to rewrite my problem using the first step. Y minus 13 equals 31. I'm going to do the inverse. So inverse means that opposite. So what math operation am I doing? Well, I'm doing subtraction. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. I'm going to look what number is with my variable. So what number, or where is my variable? It's on my left side, And on the left side, I see a 13. So that's my number that I'm going to subtract or add. Whatever I do to the left side, I must do to the right side. So now I'm going to add 13, since I added 13 to the left. And now I'm left with my solve. Well, why? If I have a negative 13 plus 13, that's a 0. And so remember, I can just leave that 0 out since a number plus 0 is itself. So I have y equals, and now I have my right side. Well, what is 13 plus 31? Well, that is 44. So remember, I'm always looking for what does my variable equal. So I have my answer, y equals 44. Now I need to do my last step, which is that check. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. Y minus 13 equals 31. And then I substitute what is y. So I take that value of y and I put it in. So I have 44 minus 13 equals 31. 44 minus 13. Well, I know 4 minus 3, that's a 1. I know 4 minus 1, that's a 3 for my left side. Does 31 equal 31? Yes, it does. So I know my answer, y equals 44, was correct. Let's try an multiplication problem. If I have 7d equals 84, my first step is I rewrite that problem. 7d equals 84. My next step is the inverse, inverse being opposite. So I'm going to ask myself, what math operation do I see? Well, I actually don't see any of my multiplication, division, addition signs like this. So I need to figure out what is going on here. Well, remember, if I have a variable, so a variable is any letter next to any other variable, or a variable next to any number, that's multiplication, saying x times y, or this would be 7 times x. So what do I have here? I have 7 times d. So my math operation is that multiplication. So what is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide. And what am I going to divide by? Again, I look for what number is with my variable. So I see a d. I see there's a 7 on the same side. So I'm going to do 7 divided by 7. And then I have that phrase, whatever I do to the left, I must do to the right. So I need to also divide the right by 7. Now I'm left with d equals 84 divided by 7. I'm not sure what that is, so I'm just going to do it on the side. Remember, when I'm dividing with a fraction, I have an improper fraction where the larger number is smaller than my bottom number. I make the larger number on that inside. So I have 7 goes into a 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract 8 minus 7 is 1. Bring down that 4. 7 goes into 14. 2 times 7 is 14. And then I subtract and I would get 0. So d equals 12. If you're not sure what happened to these 7s, remember that 7 divided by 7, that equals 1. 1 times d is what I'd have here. And remember, 1 times any number is that number. So that's how we have just that d here. Is my answer done? I just have d equals 12. The answer is done, but I still need to check to make sure the answer is right. So I'm going to rewrite my problem. 7d equals 84. I take what does d equal and I put it in. 7 times 12 equals 84, and I'm going to check, does 7 times 12 equals 84? Well, I'm going to write it down here. 7 times 4, or 7 times 2, that's 4. Carry the 1. 7 times 1, 7. 7 plus 1 is 84. So I have 84 equals 84. My left side equals the right side, so I know my answer is correct. So let's try a division problem, then I'll have you do your practice work. Alright, I have d divided by 6 equals 42. So I'm going to do my first step. My first step is I rewrite the problem. So d divided by 6 equals 42. My next step is the inverse. So inverse means, again, that opposite. What is the operation that I'm doing here? Is it addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Well, I'm going to look. I don't see, again, any of these signs, but I do know that a fraction bar is the same as division. So I know that this is d divided by 6. So I'm working with division. So what is the opposite of division? It is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply. I look at where is my variable. My variable's on the left, and I see what number is with my variable. It's a 6. So I'm going to multiply it by 6. Whatever I do to the left, I must do to the right. So I multiply 42 by 6. My 6's will cancel out. 6 times 1/6, that equals 6 over 6 equals 1. So I'm left with just 1 times d, which is d. d equals 42 times 6. So I'm just going to do my work on the side. 6 times 2, that is 2. 6 times 4 is 24, plus that 1 from when I had my 12. So that's 252. So d equals 252. Am I done? Not yet. Remember, I'm still going to check my work. So here is my checking. I rewrite my problem. d divided by 6 equals 42. I substitute d in. So 252 divided by 6 equals 42. Then I need to check, does 252 divided by 6 equals 42? Well, I'm just going to do my work, go off to the side. 6 goes into 25 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. 25 minus 24 is 1. Bring down the 2. 6 goes into 12 2 times. 2 times 6, that is 12. And 12 times 12 minus 12 is 0. So 252 divided by 6 does equal 42. 42 equals 42. My left side equals the right side, so I know I did all my work correctly. Alright, what you guys on the computer are going to do now is you're going to go to Socrative. You're going to solve all the problems on Socrative. Please do your best. Remember, since you're on the computers, it is room number Corbett 6. When you are done with Socrative, I want you to go to AAA Math. You can either type the web address in, or better yet, go to our class website, because it will bring you to the 6th page, or the 6th grade page. When you're on the 6th grade page, I want you to raise your hand, and I will come and show you which problems you're going to do. After you have completed 30 problems on AAA Math, you may go to Math Games. Alright, good job. I hope you do well on your Socrative and your exit ticket.